Hello people, how are you doing? Today, I've prepared a cool video about some stunning vehicles. 20 awesome types of transport from bikes to cars are waiting for us now. I hope you've fastened your invisible seatbelts, but if you really are driving, check that they're secure. At the end, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn the bell gray so you will not miss the next episode. And let's go! Dan Bush built an incredible bike for the new presentation of the Guinness Book of Records. Unofficially, it was nicknamed the Monster Bike. He used one huge tire as wheels. Yes, you understood everything right. The unit itself is installed on one wheel. For balance, a frame with two small double wheels is welded to the rear parts. I don't think that this bike can be used for its intended purpose on an ongoing basis. Here, the person simply set the goal of getting a record, and he succeeded. I don't think that in everyday life it's convenient to ride it on city streets, but as a museum piece or an interesting item, it's great. This is a Land Sea Monster, a super heavy military amphibian. It was built to order by the US Army to transport troops, tanks, and trucks ashore. It moves through the water with the help of air-filled pontoons attached to tracks, and is designed to demonstrate a way to transport standard 20 or 40-foot containers from conventional container ships to shore without using a harbor. The use of track supports equipped with dense air-impregnated foam blocks give it buoyancy in water and movement on land, allowing it to overcome mud, sand, and marshy areas on the shore. It's quite a functional machine. It's hard to believe, but the tractor is able to fit everything that a heavy truck can fit. This is a concept sports car from BMW that can change its shape due to what's underneath its frame. The body is literally covered with fabric, and there are small steel beams and computer-controlled hydraulic mini installations inside. Gina can change the shape of side rails, spoiler, and bumpers in sport and city styles. Also, the doors of the car open the same as in a supercar, only opening and closing the doors looks as if the car is exploding. And its headlights also extend. There are no seams in it at all. Well, at least they're not visible. This supercar has been developed since 2001 by BMW chief designer Chris Bangle and Danish car designer Anders Warming. Here you can see the opposite of a car, a functional truck upside down. The founder of the Museum of Unusual Cars, Rick Sullivan, built this turncoat based on a 1991 Ford Ranger pickup truck and a 1995 F-150. The car is legal to drive, so it is quite possible to move it around the city streets. Technically, the chassis is taken from Ford, since the SUV weighs 730 kilograms. It has all-wheel drive with independent front suspension. I couldn't find out exactly what engine Rick installed on this car, but if we continue to talk about Ford, then after '89, the basic equipment was produced with a 2B3-liter engine. In general, the redesigned model does not reveal much secrets from the technical side. A car-obsessed customizer, Sean Cormier from Ontario, Canada, spent 5 years creating a car which name is a pun on Frankenstein's monster. The hot rod is built on a basis of 1994 World War II-era gun, with a Chevy transmission, small block of Chevy Turbo 350 trim, a standard 4-speed gearbox in the rear parts, and a 1947 cabin. This is the Mercury truck. It really does look like Frankenstein. I think if Sean had troubled himself to paint the cockpit or polish the parts, this Tankenstein would have looked much nicer. Although maybe the designer tried to maintain authenticity. I don't know. And here's another incredible item. A man designed a cart in the form of either a bird or an animal walking on metal legs. It is based on the engine, and the carriage itself is controlled by the reins. There are 2 wheels and a seat for the driver at the back. There's a complete feeling that this unknown beast is harnessed. The maximum speed that the beast can reach is about 6 kilometers per hour, which is not that fast, but this development was probably made for leisurely evening promenades, not high-speed driving. And yes, as the animal's paws move, the animal head seems to look to both sides, creating the full impression that it's alive. Now look at this giant SUV, a Bigfoot, whose height is 4.7 meters. This dreamboat was built by Bob Chandler, who is one of the founders of the monster truck sports movement. It all started with Bob's mad desire to travel to as many interesting places as possible. So he installed larger tires on his pickup truck, welded the axles, and realized the big tires needed a powerful engine. With his creation, he began to take part in various competitions, mud hill climbing, exhibitions, pulling trucks, and tractors. One day there was a car accident, and this show amazed the spectators and made the crowd go mad, and thus the sports movement of monster trucks appeared. Bob's final car is a ride with 10-foot wheels taken from a land train in Alaska. There are also single-ton tires, 5-ton axles, and 16-inch gas shock absorbers. The Big 4-5 has become the world's largest monster truck. The custom electric bike from J-Route looks like it rolled out of a cyberpunk game. This is an incredibly cool model with powerful characteristics. It reaches a maximum speed of 50 kilometers per hour, and you can travel from 17 to 50 kilometers on a full charge, depending on the road and temperature conditions. The battery charges from 0 to 100% in 4 hours. You can move both around the city and through forest areas on such a streamlined and bright bicycle. Having received your order, the developers clarify your parameters and make each model of the two-wheeled beast especially for you. Looking at such bicycles, it is difficult to imagine that 25 years ago, there was not even a hint of electric bicycles. The first modern models began to appear around the beginning of the 90s. Of course, there were certain homemade prototypes before, but they did not correspond to the quality and level that appeared later. The first e-bikes were created primarily for getting around the city, and nothing else. In Europe, people love the environment and hate paying for gas, so they choose a bicycle as a means of transportation. That is, a person gets on this bike and goes to work, in fact, without even turning the pedals. An annual competition among cars are held in the USA. People from every state prepare exhibition items in the form of copies of legendary cars. This guy put his soul into this Ferrari miniature. In the original, this is the AC Cobra 427, produced in 1965, with characteristics that were cool that time. The model became a collector's item because Shelby produced only 260 cars. Initially, they were equipped with a 2.6-liter engine. Later, it was replaced with a V8. There were 3 re-releases of this legendary car. It's not surprising that the guy decided to make this particular copy. ETH Skewo Startup has created an electric wheelchair that can climb not only stairs, but also common obstacles such as curbs, tram tracks, grass, mud, or stones. The design of the wheelchair was developed not only as a stylish accessory. First of all, the developers took into consideration the needs of a modern person. The device has an expanded range of functions, a folding mechanism based on a rotary hinge, its electrical cables are hidden inside the body, and it also has intuitive armrests for easy seating. In 2018, a unique type of home mobility device based on the Porsche 996 car was developed in Spain. Before this, the developers were working on furniture and various types of beds that looked like cars. The Porsche 996 hoverboard is one of the first models to take advantage of all the benefits of upholstered home furniture and the ability to move independently from a car. Unfortunately, there is no information about its full characteristics, power, and charging methods in open sources. A human drone. This development was made by some startuppers. The guys assembled the car in just 3 weeks. As stated by the developers, the device is capable of continuous flight without a passenger for about 10 to 15 minutes. In total, there were about 3 versions of the winged aircraft. Initially, there were several malfunctions, but the guys finally managed to fix all the bugs, and lo and behold, the device started flying. There's no such thing on an industrial scale yet, and to be honest, I don't think it will appear soon. Flights on such devices require special training and special safety precautions. This is the Hubbles, the world's first IVT motorcycle with 30-inch wheels. The large front wheel is hubless. It is made from solid billet, and the braking system is integrated into the wheel. A special pneumatic cylinder is designed taking into account the load that the wheel and motorcycle can withstand. Technically, its wheels have better braking properties than regular wheels. The suspension arm experiences noticeably less stress, since it is usually located at the lower edge of the wheel and has a smaller arm. Well, yes, this motorcycle looks incredibly stylish. Now you can see a Korean, full-fledged electric bike. It is equipped with the ability to charge quickly. A battery with a capacity of 13,440 milliamps is enough to ride for 3 to 4 hours. The weight of the bike itself is 180 kilograms. Its drive range is about 300 kilometers, and its maximum speed is 125 kilometers per hour. It has 24-inch tubeless tires and brakes installed on both wheels. These wheels are equipped with oil shock absorbers. The frame is made of aluminum alloy. Every time when charging is required, the motorcycle will notify you about it. This is a universal means of transportation. You can easily move around the necessary points in the city. The device is also friendly with village roads. It is silent and powerful, like a wild beast in the concrete jungle. And here, there's a fully ballistic and super lightweight premium motorcycle. The chassis, commonly used in missiles, spacecraft, and other defense applications, uses 7075 aluminum, which has excellent mechanical properties such as high strength, toughness, and high fatigue resistance. Its power is 900 to 1200 cubic meters, 74.1 horsepower at 7500 RPM, 102.6 horsepower at 7250 RPM. It has a chain drive and a 5-speed gearbox. This is a futuristic, powerful, urban transport for thrill seekers. Head-Turner Customs and Sparks Motors introduced the 4-wheel drive hub-centric diesel bike. Its characteristics are WSEPO, 3 horsepower, 196cc, IDI swirled chamber. It also has Komei TAV2 torque. The prototype frame was the Schwinn Kokomo, but it was later modified to fit the giant fat tire mountain bike. A super fast, lightweight, and maneuverable vehicle was created specifically for conquering off-road trails. The powerful treads on the wheels provide reliable traction on surfaces of various types, from watery clay to sand. Well, that's all, guys. Share your impressions in the comments.